2026, and you're listening to the Tech Addicts Podcast. Brace yourself. This week we look at the Pixel Watch 5, the REDMAGIC Astra 2, the Cabletime ScreenDock, the Sonos Ace Ultra, VLC issues with Microsoft Defender, GOG coming to Linux, and loads more. Hello and welcome to the Tech Addicts Podcast. This is Gareth. Gareth is speaking right now, and this is Ted. Ted's going to speak right now.
Hello. I've spoken on cue because I always do as I'm told on this podcast. With Gareth being such a school headmaster, I do what I'm told. And I shall start off by saying how wonderful the climate is today. After all my whinging in previous weeks, it's 18 degrees. It's rainy and cloudy and occasionally sunny. There's zero humidity pretty much, and it's just lovely. This is the perfect summer weather for me, and it'll do nicely every day throughout the year. Thank you very much. Your turn.
Well, it is somewhat overcast here. I'm hoping that it doesn't rain. It did rain overnight, which is most upsetting because grass cutting, hedge cutting, car washing, those are on the menu for today. So we might try and cut this podcast as short as possible so I can get on with things, my summer responsibilities. There was a solar eclipse during the week, Ted. Did you happen to notice it?
I did. We had cloud cover here, but I didn't have any glasses, and I did what they suggested to do, and I put my back to the sun, and I got my phone, and I put the phone on selfie camera, and I pressed the record video button, and so over my shoulder I could see the sun. And so I recorded it just at the right time. But here it was 12 minutes past 7 for about 3 or 4 minutes. And so I looked at it afterwards and absolutely nothing. You couldn't see anything except a orange ball in my video. So I'm only assuming that the cloud cover just completely took away any clear view of what actually happened here. And so it was a bit pointless, really. I'm wondering if it really happened at all. Did it happen there?
It apparently did. Once again, Ireland generally has clouds over it for most of the time to keep people's skin fair and their teeth green and their hair ginger. So yeah, we went outside and we experienced a lower level of light than normal. And yes. I established that my wife does not understand the principles of sunrise and sunset in particular directions, or does she have a biological compass built into her to be able to work out which is north, south, east and west, because I did query her, because we've been living in this house for, 17 or 18 years, maybe more, maybe 20 years, and I said, which way is north? And that perplexed her, and I had to walk her through, when you go out for a 10-mile run at 6 o'clock in the morning, where does the sun come up? And she pointed in a direction. And I said, are you sure? And she amended that direction a good bit. Now, that's more like it. So where would the sun be going down in the evening? And she went that way. So, it's a bit embarrassing for her. Oh, it gets worse, actually, come to think of it, because she did actually suggest that we got into the car and drove down to the car park beside the sea. We live by the sea, so driving maybe maybe half a kilometre down to the car park by the sea to see if we could see round the clouds, because that's how they work. You know the way in cartoons you have a raining cloud that's over one person? She just thought the cloud was pretty much over our house. And we'd be able to drive around it and see the sun from the other side by going a couple of 100 meters in a north direction. It's like, no. wow, this is it. This is it.
Yeah. I did notice it going dark. To be fair, it went well. Not dark, just not so bright. It was a very low level of not so bright, and it was also a tiny bit less hot on that day for a few minutes. But that's all I noticed.
Well, yes, I did notice in the newspapers the next day there was people saying that they have vision problems now because they were staring at the sun for, I don't know, half an hour. Wow! Yeah, I don't think a couple of hours went by or any news broadcast went by without some kind of reminder not to look directly at it and suggestions for what you should do instead. But some people still manage to miss those. Yeah. Which is a shame, I guess. But what can you do? Yeah. Right.
A blinding error.
Very good, very good. Well, on the show this week, Google isn't trying to reinvent the Pixel Watch physically.
REDMAGIC Astra 2 is the tablet which is coming soon.
What might be the Cabletime ScreenDock?
Sonos is preparing a second-generation premium headphone, apparently called the Sonos Ace Ultra.
VLC is getting caught in the Microsoft Defender debacle.
And GOG to mere mortals, is coming to Linux.
I bet you're excited about that. All that and more to come on the show. We're going to start off with some feedback from our listeners.
No.
But that I guess that means that we've done quite well over the last couple of weeks because people haven't been telling us off for making mistakes or saying something silly because God knows, do that a lot. So we'll just we'll wade straight into the news with the most exciting thing of the week, and that is, Ted, it's the Cabletime ScreenDock. The ScreenDock is essentially like an 8-in-1 USB-C dock with a 5.5-inch 720 display, and you connect it to a Mac or a PC with a single USB cable, and the computer treats the little screen as an additional external monitor. This means you're not restricted to whatever widgets or information Cabletime provides, and you can put anything from your computer onto this little display. What can you tell me about this, Ted?
Look at the kind of the infographic breakdown of all the ports and buttons and knobs and dials and all the things you can do with it and plug into it and plug out from it, and this is just a phenomenal bit of kit, really. And it's only 120 quid. It's on a Kickstarter, I think, but the initial price is 120 quid or $120. But yeah, the killer feature obviously is that the top of it you can rotate up by pressing that button on the axle of it, and it rotates up to the whatever angle you fancy having it at, and then you can use it as a second screen on Windows or other computing systems, or you can plug it into the USB. The HDMI obviously will plug directly into any monitor you want, or you can use it from your Windows computer or your phone, or as long as your phone has got a the capability of display port and what have you. But how flexible is that? That looks absolutely brilliant, and you could then use the screen for anything you want, as you would for a second screen on monitoring anything you like, or running a video while you're working, or pretending to work in some people's pretending to work from home in some people's cases, It's just got. I'm really excited about this. I think it looks really good, and I want one now. So please arrange it.
All right. It has a bunch of ports. I'm not sure about. You mentioned the button for the hinge. I think it's just a standard hinge, a bit like a laptop that you pull up yourself. I don't think it's in any way, motorized or anything like that. It's just, you just grab it and yank it up like you would a laptop screen, but from behind, if that makes sense.
Okay, there's just a big black circle on the axle, which looks like it's the same as my little phone stand, which you press in to change the angle. But you could be right, I don't know.
All right, okay. Well, it's got an HDMI output as well, which does 4K 60 Hertz. It takes gigabit Ethernet. It's got an SD card, micro SD card reader. There's USB connectivity, USB-C power delivery pass-through of up to 100 watts, and it's got that built-in display. I suppose some people are probably going to say, it's only 720, and it's a 5.5-inch screen, which is quite small, but it's a use case. It's designed for being able to take a little weather widget or have a Spotify playlist or something like that on it. So it's more handy. I actually just realised I didn't check to see if is it a touch screen or is it just you slide your mouse over to it in a screen share kind of way.
I don't think it's a touchscreen. I'm just checking the specs now, and I do not see any mention of touchscreen now.
Yeah. So it's more like a screen share which they do on with Windows. I think you can use any wireless tablet or whatever to do that now as well, if memory serves. So it kind of performs that function, but then combined with the USB hub collection of features. So it's the merging of two very, very useful technologies in one tidy, good-looking little product. Very exciting.
Absolutely. A friendly, glanceable little display to put next to whatever you're using as your main kind of workflow device. I think I'm very excited about this, and I was thinking about backing it, but 120 quid, it just seems a bit of a risk. Although actually, how have they done with their appeal so far? I can't get. There it is. Oh yeah, they've got 350. Yeah, they've got 351 backers, 35 days to go, and they've made 39,000 quid. So.
Yeah, so what kind of deals do they do? You've got Cabletime ScreenDock early bird is 120 buckaroonies, down from 170.
Oh, 88 quid. So they're saying that $120 is 88 quid, which makes it even better. That's very tempting now.
And that's the unit plus a cable and an instruction manual, and there's one more, but I can't see what that is. I'm sure it's something exciting, like a car.
The bad news is that they're not shipping till October.
Oh, dearie. Well, what are you going to do about that? October's only round the corner.
Somebody there using it as a clock, an old HTC Sense like flippy flip clock. I want one of these.
Well, yes. But we'll come back to desktop USB hubs in the show later on. Okay, next up is the REDMAGIC Astra 2, which is it's a tablet, and you're going to tell us all about it.
Well, we have covered this before as a coming soon, but the news here is that they've actually put a date on it now, so you can actually get this on the 26th of August globally. You can still put down your £1 deposit before the 25th of August, and if you do that, you get a £30 discount. But I still can't find anywhere. Oh yes, I can. It's $699. So you get 30 quid off of that if you put your quid down. But the nice thing about this, as I think we said before when we talked about it as a coming soon, is the size of it. It's a 9-inch device with virtually no bezels, and it's just so palm hand friendly little tablet that you could use for lots of different things, and it's almost kind of pocketable. But the gamers, you gamers, would be more interested in the fact that it's got liquid cooling and a huge amount of specs that make it really good for gaming. I'm more interested in things like its audio capabilities and running other stuff that I usually use an Android tablet for. But yeah, lots of specs which I no doubt will get you going. There's an OLED panel which is 9.06 inches technically, and it's got a 185 hertz refresh rate, and it can reach 1,600 nits of brightness, 2,000 hertz instant touch sampling. What else is there? USB. Oh, there are two USB-C ports, so one on each side you can use for pass-through gaming and pass-through powering at the same time. Blah 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 blah. What else can you pick out from that lot?
I'm actually checking out the early bird scheme because I'm trying to work out what the benefits are. You get $30 off if you put down $1 now.
That's right. That's what I said. Try and keep up.
Oh, sorry. I was invested in trying to.
I think I saw that it was $699 though, so that would make it $669.
It's going to be $399 in the UK.
Oh, is it as cheap as that? Wow.
And if that's accurate, it'll be cheaper than the the Ace 499 launch price.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, it looks really nice. As a non-gamer, as I say, the most interesting thing is the size to me and the sound that it's going to make, I'm sure. And it's a dinky little, if not pocket, then certainly small bag kind of thing you can just take everywhere. It's not far really with those small bezels. It's not far off being a phone size, Anyway, I like the look of this. Yes.
Yeah. I like the way is it Flossie Carter has put in a wee video where he's hooked it up to a gaming handheld thing that allows you to do some gaming on the go. It's on that Kickstarter page. It looks like quite a swish little device to be doing all your gaming on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
All right, next up is the Sonos. The Sonos are preparing the second generation premium headphones, and they're going to go directly head to head with Sony's WH-1000XM6s. They are the successor to the Sonos Ace, which debuted back in 2024, but Sonos now appears to be ready to replace it with the Ultra model, which is pretty slick sounding. It should be arriving on the 1st of September. There's going to be an announcement on the 1st of September, so it should release soon after that, I suppose. And it might have better ANC, people are speculating, with a longer battery life, maybe 35 hours with ANC enabled, which would be kind of cool. With very fast charging, where you can get 3 hours of playback for just 3 minutes. Ted, anything else that people should be delighting in?
I've never, ever had or used Sonos in any way, shape or form. I've no idea what they're like, but they do seem to have a good reputation. Looking at the photographs that have been included in this page on Notebook Check, I'm not sure that I like the pill-shaped ear cups. I'm not convinced that my ears will fit into the holes. With my Sony ones, my ears fit in there, just perfectly, and it works really well. But the other thing to say is that they look so Apple. They just look like they're like many people are doing, OEMs are doing at the moment, is just ripping design from Apple left, right, and centre, and not just in terms of software. And UIs on phones, for example, but also here it looks to me like in hardware as well. The other bit of news, kind of akin to this, is that the that Sony are just about to release a a a second generation of the WH-1000XM4s. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, they have just released a really nice green colour XM6 pair, which they should have released that colour to begin with because it's really nice. But also, I think it's called the XM4C or something like that. And the only difference between the new one and my existing one from those years ago is that the battery's a little bit smaller, from what I can gather. There doesn't seem to be much difference at all. So there's that in the mix too. Oh yeah, there it is, XM4C, and they're releasing it on the September the 7th for 219 quid. So a cheaper version, which really doesn't have much difference between the ones I've got. Now they're not obviously going to be as up there with the XM6s, because XM6s are the newest and greatest, and no doubt with the best ANC and all the rest of it. But for someone on a budget, my XM4s are perfectly good enough. And if the batteries are a little bit less and you save money, then great. But I've stolen this story from Sonos. Have you had Sonos stuff? Have you used it?
Not once, no. Obviously, I'd like to give it a go, but it's just something that's just been. It's always felt a wee bit like a brand name sound system that you end up paying a little bit extra for. That maybe, you in a culty kind of way you get into, but or a rabbit hole that you go down. That would be a better way to describe it. And before you know it, you've bought this, that, and the other. But I do like the idea of it and having it all through the house. I think I've got a friend actually who has one.
Yeah, they're a different system. It looks like it's got physical buttons as well on this headset. I'm not quite sure what that does, but no doubt it's a switch between ANC and not ANC or something. So there's that.
Yes. Well, it's nice that Sonos is taking another swing at Sony with the Ace Ultra, and if this arrives in September, which it certainly should do, it'll give people a little bit of an option over the XM6s that I'm currently wearing right now. But from what I gather, they seem to be breaking quite a lot. The legs that connect the headband to the ear cups tend to snap. I've seen a lot of people giving off about those, so I treat mine very carefully. I don't even take them out of the house anymore, which kind of destroys a little bit of the nicety of having them, because I don't want to take them anywhere or carry a backup pair just in case I break them. When I went to Tenerife, I had a wee pair of in-ear headphones in my bag just in case something happened to these. Whatever you do, you just can't win. Right, Google Pixel. The Pixel Watch has been announced, and obviously you would be covering all of the Pixel phone gubbins over on the Phone Show chat. So we'll pick up on the Pixel Watch here just for fun. So it's got a very familiar design, which I think is par for the course for the Google Pixel. It hasn't really changed that much since its inauguration, since it originally arrived. There are two sizes, the 41mm and the 45mm versions, or the man and woman ones, as they used to be kind of labelled in a way. There's also the Steph Curry edition, which is a special edition that's also coming, aiming for basketball and fitness users. But the one thing that they're saying about this particular generation is that it is more focused on health. And it's got a Health Guardian, which is Google's expanding their watch's health monitoring capabilities, including blood pressure, trends, insulin resistance indicators, and sleep breathing analysis, which are intended as wellness indicators rather than for medical diagnosis, which I have on my Samsung as well. So every time I do check my heart rate and my blood pressure on my watch, it's like, no, we're not doctors, but here's your blood blood pressure and things like that. And so, oh, right, okay, is it accurate? If you're saying you're not a doctor, you could just throw anything at me and go, yeah, that's what it is. It's 121/63. Go see a doctor. Is that good? I don't know. So GPS accuracy has also been improved, and particularly difficult environments such as cities. Google's put a lot of work into to allow more sophisticated workouts and strength training tools as well in there. It's got AI generated watch faces, which I think that's actually kind of a nice idea. That might be a good implementation of AI, where I do frequently scroll through watch faces for my watch, and I get a bit hacked off that I find something that's really cool, but I just can't customize it in a way that I want. Or if I find a watch face I really like, I can't add one more, what do they call, complication or something like that they put in there on the screen just to round it off and things. But yeah, it should be arriving on August 20th. Pre-orders go up on August 12th. What do you think, Ted? Are you going to upgrade?
I've no intention of upgrading at all, no. But that was very nicely summarised. Well done. There's only a couple of things that I'd like to add to that. Firstly, it's got physically, it's exactly the same as the Watch 4. And also, kudos to Google for not changing the charging arrangement. So those that have got the dock for the 4, the 5 will work on the same dock for charging. So you'll be able to have uniformity there. And also, there's the Gemini Raise to Talk feature, in which you raise the smartwatch to your mouth and start chatting with Gemma, and it kind of is supposed to be much more slick and quick, and somebody in this Gizmodo article has actually tested that, and they've said that yes, it's really quick and responsive. There's a thing that Samsung have brought out with their latest hardware, isn't there, where you lift the phone right up to your mouth and talk to the assistant. I think it might be Bixby actually in that case, but there's this move towards putting it right to your mouth, and I think that they're doing that also with the watch. Pricing, I think that it's a little bit. I haven't got a note of pricing in front of me. Have you? I think
it's $399.
Okay, so perhaps it's the same as last year then. It doesn't feel like it's much different, but they'll come down in price though, as they always do. I really like my Pixel watch. I think it's really, really well done, particularly when you're using a Pixel phone and you can make use of all the hookups like you can with any ecosystem, I suppose. And I really, really like my Pixel watch. I think it's a smashing watch. And I've only got the 3, not even the 4, and it's still perfectly good. So yeah, I no doubt in time might upgrade to the 5, or even wait for the 6.
Yeah. I'd forgotten to look at the price, and I do get a bit hacked off at the price because of the Pixel Watch now. It's still cheaper than most of Samsung's offerings and TicWatch. But do TicWatch still exist? I'm trying to think of other watch manufacturers that are on the Android ecosystem, and yeah, $399 is it's still quite a bit, for a watch that's maybe going to last you a year or two.
And that's probably at the price of the baseline one. Let's have a look at watches. Pixel Watch 5. Pricing. Pre-order. 369. So 369 quid is your base price on the 41mm. 399 quid for the 45mm. And then if you want the 4G one, then it goes up by about 100 quid. Yeah, it's exactly 100 quid. So your 369 is 469, and your 399 is 499. And you can get it in different colours. You can get it in polished silver, champagne gold, satin pyrite aluminium, and matte black aluminium.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you think that they should have done a wee bit with the looks of it rather than just sort of bring out the blueprints from last year and photocopy them?
No, I don't, because I think it works well. Well, as I say, I've got the 3 and not the 4, and the 4 has got a slightly more domed screen. I mean, there wasn't much difference between the 3 and the 4, really, but I think it's okay in terms of when you've got a watch that the design works really well. You know, there's no point in keep changing it. I know people can complain about the fact that the stuff has plateaued, and you know, Samsung Galaxy phones are exactly the same year after year after year now, and Apple devices and Pixel devices and blah blah blah. But I think to some degree with watches that design works really well. Keep it.
Fair dues, as said by Ted. Good work, Google.
Yeah.
All right, next up is some good news for gamers, and I'd be quite excited about this as well, because GOG is officially coming to Linux. It's not here yet, but GOG Galaxy is getting its own version at some point in the near future that is going to run on Linux desktops across the world. If you don't know what GOG is a bit like Steam, I suppose. It's a PC gaming platform. But whenever you buy a game from GOG, you own it, and it belongs to you. It's DRM free, unlike Steam and PlayStation and Xbox and all those, where you're buying a license to play the game for as long as the license lasts. As we're starting to discover with a great many things at the moment, licenses are being retracted and people are losing the content that they thought they'd purchased in the past. That doesn't happen with GOG, and from the word go, GOG has always sold their games to you, and if they delist it or remove it from GOG, you still own it, and if GOG was to ever go away, you can download all your games and keep all your games wherever you need to. It's a bit like going into a game shop and buying your game and taking it home and placing it on the shelf. You just don't have anything to place on the shelf. GOG Galaxy is a nice digital kind of shelf for you to use to see all of your games and be able to download within the application. You can also do a bit of online gaming and things with it, and you can install mods for your games through it too. It's just a very nice big thing, and it's one of the things that I really miss from Windows, because you can get your GOG games working through bottles and wine and that sort of thing, and Lutris on the Linux desktop, but actually having a native client that you just click and you don't have to worry about it, anything breaking with updates or whatever. GOG Galaxy will be arriving on the Linux desktop for people to enjoy. Ted, have you ever heard of GOG?
Yeah, you got me to install it once, and so I looked at it and I played with it for 5 minutes and then realised I wasn't a gamer, so put it away again. It does look, the front end of it though, there's a picture here of what it's going to look like. It does look very nice and very kind of Steam-like. So forgive me if I wasn't listening properly there, but the games that you can get through GOG, are they pretty much the same games as you can get through Steam, or have they got their own unique set of games that you can't get on Steam?
Yes and no. You can get a lot of games that are available on Steam on there. Not all of them, but GOG was initially set up because GOG stands for Good Old Games, where they were releasing old DOS games and things that were kind of pepped up and compatible for modern systems. So you get, say, Leisure Suit Larry or Space Quest or Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Those sorts of games are available through GOG, and they should work on your system today. And they restore games. They're sort of a restoration type and preservation effort. But they obviously can't survive on selling those games alone, and they've got to have modern content to be able to pull in money, to be able to sell stuff. So they do a lot of indie games and modern games. So they are, I'd say they're the second most popular PC gaming platform out there. and those that use it are fiercely loyal. I like GOG a great deal, and one of the best ways to actually bulk out your GOG catalog is if you've got an Amazon Prime subscription. Every month they give you a bunch of free games on GOG. And Epic, but Epic doesn't compare. I think Epic's already admitting, yeah, we're crap compared to these other two. But I think it was yesterday morning I went on and had a quick check of my Prime gaming and put in 4 or 5 games that I can't say I've heard of before, but the odd time you get something which is like, oh, I'll have that. There was
and you can keep them for good, can you? Even if you the next week cancel your Prime subscription.
Yeah.
Right.
And my GOG collection has erupted since I took out the Prime subscription, and whenever I cancelled it a couple of years ago, it was one thing that I really missed. But given the amount of games that they give you, it actually covers the cost of the subscription. And yeah, okay, they're not games that I might immediately run out and grab, but it's one of those ones that helps you justify paying the Amazon Prime subscription, right, alongside the free P&P. So it's one of those things that I take back from them, and I'm quite happy to. A couple of years ago, they did all of the, I don't know if you remember the old SSL games, which were like Dungeons and Dragons, Eye of the Beholder, and those sorts of things. There was a whole range of games back in the late 80s, early 90s that tantalised me whenever I was in the gaming shop. I'd be looking at them going, I wish I could afford to get these and play them. They look so interesting because they're role-playing games, kind of turn-based role-playing games, and I probably wouldn't have liked them, but the art was lovely and the graphics looked great. And there was one, Buck Rogers, that I always wanted because I liked Buck Rogers, the TV show, and they had a version of Buck Rogers on the PC, and I just could never afford it, but I now have it through GOG because Amazon gave it away for free a year ago.
So if you set this up on your Windows, and then you've got all this stuff on it, and you've got your thing all set up with all the stuff you've nicked off of Amazon Prime, and then the Linux version comes along, does that all just do you think that'll all just be replicated via GOG's cloud, and you'll just get the same experience, or do you think that you need to start again?
Well, I got a chance to do a wee bit of a dig here. A lot of games use emulation. Essentially, it's not emulation, but it's the best way to describe it, where they use wine and bottles to be able to run the game, because they'll take the Windows version of it and make it run on the Linux environment. And the easiest way to understand it is it's a bit like emulation. But the funny thing is that I'd say maybe 7 out of 10 times those games actually run better on Linux through this method than they do on Windows. The Proton initiative that Steam have done themselves in order to make the games work really well on the Steam Deck is so efficient and well done that the games actually run a good bit better on a Linux environment than they do on Windows. Like if you get Cyberpunk, which is one of the biggest, graphical tests of a game, and try to run it on a Linux distro, you might find that it'll run better than it does if you have a Windows install on the same computer. So it just, I think it's just there's less processes running in the background, so it runs a bit more efficiently. But that's I believe that's what they're going to do. I didn't read through this whole thing. I'm just excited about it, and I'm going to grab it as soon as it comes out and start playing Duke Nukem and Commander Keen. Oh, Commander Keen! Wow.
Do you have to pay GOG anything, or is you just pay for the games, and then the GOG presumably get a cut from the game makers? Do they?
Yeah. The one thing that I think is a bit of a swizz is most games, whenever they come out, if Steam are going to have it in their collection for you to buy, they will the developer of the game will have to sign to say that they will not sell the game cheaper on another platform, which is a bit of a swizz, for some people. But it's it still works out pretty cheap. And GOG have some great sales and things like that, and especially with Amazon Prime cranking away in the background, you can just fill up a collection of games, some of which you might actually like.
Cool. Very nice. Well, I'll dust off my little laptop with Linux Mint on it when that comes along and install it and have a look.
Well, have a play with it on Windows and see whether or not you want to actually get some GOG games. See if there's anything that tantalizes you.
Well, the Amazon Prime thing does sound attractive because I pay for that, and I don't use any of the benefits of Amazon Prime. The next day delivery thing is almost my sole thing that I use from them. But I certainly don't use any of the other benefits of it, so that could be one of them. I shall have a look.
Yeah. Well, they do drop off after a month or two. So, I'm looking at all the games that now, if you were to walk into it now and start clicking on redeem, then you'd probably. I don't think there's anything here you're going to like at all. But if you just keep going in every month, you just check and see what the new games are, and there'll be a handful of new games that you can go and add to your collection.
So where do you go? Do I go to my Amazon homepage to find all that, or do you do it through the GOG?
That's Amazon's Luna.
So Luna, you would need to search on Luna for...
I think it's luna.amazon.co.uk if you go there and sign in.
Oh yeah, I've got it. Luna, must-play games, included with Amazon Prime. Seeing Hogwarts Legacy, yes. Angry Birds, yay, something for me.
Oh no, I think that's actually Luna games themselves. There's the Claim Games section where you get GOG, Epic, and there's another gaming platform as well. There's Luna as well, but there's another one that's it's kind of crappy puzzle games. I always imagine are for my wife, missing object games and spot the difference. But yeah, primarily it's Amazon and GOG. Go for those.
Okay, cool. I'll have a look at that then. That's my own work.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. In the meantime, I have been having problems with VLC. I've noticed for a few months now that whenever I launch a video on my PC under Windows 11, you're sitting there for about, they reckon it's 33 seconds before the thing pops up and the video starts playing. And I've kind of never really, I've just accepted over these months that is just probably to do with my computer or something. And I just kind of have lived with it. But once you've got one running, then it's in RAM, then the next one doesn't take that long. Anyway, interesting story that came up in the tech press in Windows latest said that everyone's getting this, and it turns out that it's a bug in Windows 11, and now they reckon it's in Windows 10 as well and other platforms. And that VLC, this is the official line, VLC is built almost completely out of plugins, codecs, demuxers, input and output modules, and are all loaded on demand instead of coded into one binary. All of these are listed in a file named plugins.dat. The cache exists so it doesn't have to rescan the whole plugins folder every time you open a media file. It's a reasonable design, but it becomes a single point of failure when something, Microsoft Defender or otherwise, because they're trying to blame Microsoft Defender unsuccessfully, because it's not just Microsoft Defender, it's other stuff as well, gets between VLC and that file. If VLC suddenly takes 30 seconds to open, try these steps before disabling Microsoft Defender. Regenerate VLC's plugin cache with vlc-cache-gen.exe from the VLC installation folder targeting the plugin directory. And secondly, reinstall VLC. I have actually tried doing that using the official installer, so the plugin cache is generated again. I have actually actually reinstalled VLC, but that didn't work for me. But anyway, I'm just a quick one, a short one, to say that I have noticed this, didn't do anything about it or flag it up, just waited every time, and now it's really interesting to see that everyone else is getting the same thing, and presumably the BODS VLC, which is open source, let's face it, run by volunteers, might actually try and sort it out or something.
Yeah. Well, VLC it's got its problems. It always has done, but they fix them frequently, and any program has its problems with, especially whenever operating system change a little something in the background. It takes a while for them to catch up. But on a Windows desktop, I see from the article that you've added from Windows latest, I used MPV. I preferred it a great deal more. And there was another one as well which had Black Edition, and I can't remember what that was for. It was like MP4 player or MP4 media player, or I can't remember what it was. But I stopped using VLC on Windows because it was a wee bit unpredictable, and sometimes it would crash and it would stay memory resident, and you had to restart the computer in order for you to get it going again. So I stopped using it, but on Linux I've used it since day one, and I think it's excellent. So don't get me wrong, I'm not.
You've not noticed
VSL.
You've not noticed that that startup delay on Linux?
No, it's not going to happen on Linux.
Well, no. This article was suggesting that it's not just Windows; it's actually other platforms as well. So I don't know if that includes Linux or not.
No, Linux wouldn't have that sort of trouble. Because remember, it's developed first and foremost for Linux, and then they just push it across to Windows. Just to appease people out there.
Yes, people like me.
Yeah, you'll just get the crumbs off the table. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's pretty much the news this week. There's nothing really too exciting, but there's still enough little interesting things to have a wee chin wag about. So we'll move into the banter section where, Ted, you're going to tell us a wee bit about some phone call AI stuff.
Yeah. Just a quick one to say that I've been using my Pixel phone this week, and I've been very impressed by the phone, Google's own phone app with the Call AI stuff, which is really, really impressive. I think. I think when you've got a kind of crap memory, you see what it does is that when you have a phone call, it records the call basically, and then when it's finished recording the call, it does a transcript of it, and you can go back later and listen to the transcript and check exactly what has been said during the call, or listen back to it, or you can look at the summary that the AI is making. Now, there's an example that I put in the recording notes here for you to see of a call that I had, but it did make one mistake in the summary, but in the transcript it didn't. It fixed it. So if you go through and look at the transcript, and all of this is downloadable, it sorts out what it needs to sort out, and it works really, really well. So in amongst the other tools, like Hold for Me and call screening and scam protection, I do think that this transcript and audio stuff is really, really good, and the AI summary works really well. It does say to the person who is on the other end of the call, whether you make the call or have an incoming call, this call is being recorded, which is a bit off-putting for some people. Although I have found that people in business are not bothered. I think it's just like friends and contacts that, real people that kind of say, what, I'm being recorded? And then you can turn it off if you want to, or if they want you to. But anyway, the point of this article, the point of this item, is that a decent use of AI that seems to work really well and help people like me to actually look back and remember what's been said in phone calls, for which normally there's no record like there would be for email or other messaging apps. So nice one, works well. And another thing that draws me back to Pixels because it's Pixel exclusive.
Yeah, it's an excellent implementation, and I know there's been apps in the past that have tried to do this as well. I'm just noticing in your screenshot there that it's actually an 0898 number that you've picked out from the back of Razzle that you've recorded there. But
Yes.
interesting. But I wonder how, could people be held accountable where perhaps you had a phone call with someone who offered you a service and they said that service was going to have something in it and it doesn't have it in it, just to get you to buy whatever it was. Would you be able to use the AI generated transcript to as evidence that, say a mobile phone deal, unlimited data, but it turns out you're limited or whatever, but the guy on the end of the phone sold you as unlimited? Can you use that?
I don't see why not, and I'll tell you why. It's because Steve Litchfield once got away with a speeding ticket because he was able to evidence from Google Maps where he was by the location tracking at the time where he was supposed to be speeding, and they accepted that as evidence. So I would imagine that probably would be the same.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, okay. I was actually learning the other day that Northern Ireland and England have two different processes for that. In England, it's the car, whereas in Northern Ireland, you have to prove the person who was driving the car, which is, kind of fun. So if you get a parking ticket, they have to work out who was actually in charge of the car when the car was being parked.
We used to have that when I worked in care homes. We used to have that problem ongoingly because we've had fleet cars, and any member of our staff at any time could be driving them, and sometimes we did get parking tickets and stuff, and we had to then tell them who the driver was. Yeah.
Right, okay, so you got to blame someone else for your misdemeanors. Nice. But yes, this could be very useful, especially with old age pensioners or something who are phoning their doctor, and they can remember what's on there.
Exactly.
And the sooner this rolls out to other phones, the better. I remember trying to do this a while ago when I was having problems with my Virgin account and trying to work out how to do it because I thought Samsung had something like this in it, and I can't remember.
They do. But the trouble with the Samsung version is that obviously you need to be using a Samsung phone, but you've also got to be using their phone app. And if you use their phone app, then you miss out on the rest of the kind of richness of the Pixel experience and the phone app by Google. But yes, if you're baked into the Samsung system, it's almost as good. And I think it does do some of this stuff. But maybe when you're talking about back then, it wasn't so good.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see how this goes, and if pirates are able to manipulate it and then steal your transcripts from the call that you've just had, where you've said your bank account details you've given them over the phone. Yeah, does the transcript record that? Is that going back to Google? Oh, the problems. All right. Well, one of the things I hinted at there was privacy. And I've become a bit pissed off with. I had a Google, or I had a Linux issue during the week. I know. Sit down. Wow, be careful now. There was a dodgy driver that downloaded and meant that my computer wouldn't boot up properly, and it had a graphical problem because the driver in the Linux firmware wasn't great. So I had to try to work out what the problem was, how to fix it, and then fix it. And I was using my phone and my tablet in DeX mode, actually, which was really handy. It was a bit of a saviour, to be honest. And I was trying to search for things that had to do with the problem that I was experiencing, from the point of view of not, is anyone else having this problem, but I've got a problem, I need to solve it now, so I can get my computer to run. Oddly enough, we were recording Projector Room podcast, and Ted was sitting drumming his fingers very politely, awaiting me to fix my computer. which I did quite quickly, I would say, given the level of the issue, and because it's Linux, it's a wee bit more complicated because I'm still learning Linux. We all are still learning Linux. So one of the things that was really bugging me was going between Google and DuckDuckGo and Brave's built-in search facility, trying to find appropriate results without having shit thrown at you, sales stuff, buy this, do that, sponsored links and things. And it was just driving me mad. Well, it wasn't driving me mad, it was just a bit of an annoyance. And it's kind of culminated over the last number of years of, I'm getting a bit sick of search engine results, because it's not like it used to be where you'd go onto the internet and type in what you're searching for and you'd find it. You find a solution to your problem instead of being sold something that sounds a bit like what you're searching for. So I went and I knew of a product called SearXNG, or SearchNG, I suppose you can pronounce it that way if you like. And I decided, I'm going to go for that. And SearchXNG, I'm just going to call it that, is a meta search engine that you can run yourself. You can self-host it on your own server, which means it's a wee bit slower than throwing into Google, but it's slower by, I don't know, a second or maybe 2 seconds, depending on what you're looking for. But it's got much better privacy to it. It doesn't build a personal profile of all your searches, and it removes private information from requests that are sent to search providers, because a meta search engine uses search engines that are out there, collects the information, and then puts it through a search engine and presents you with the information you need without all the shit attached to it. There's no advertising in the interface, unlike Google or Bing or even the likes of what was it, Start Page, I think I was using for a while, and I quite liked that. But then I started noticing that the sponsored results were building up, that it was almost like one full page of sponsored results, and then you have to scroll down to get to what you're looking for, which was still, that's acceptable. They're a business, they're trying to run this, but and they're trying to make a bit of money, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If I can do it myself, I'll do it myself. It's very configurable from what I can gather, where it's got a bunch of different interesting things to throw into your preferences, where you can select your language. You can have autocomplete that works out what you're trying to search for, and you can actually take that from Google, which is a really handy little thing, where you may be typing something in that someone's typed in many times, and it'll autocomplete it for you, because it's just a function that people take for granted now online. It's got a safe search as well, so if I decide I'm going to share this out to my family so that they get better results, I can put on the safe search so that my son can't be going and searching for ladies in bikinis, and those sorts of things. But then I can turn it off if I want to go and search for ladies in bikinis. So the self-hosting makes it even more private. You can use one that's online, which is still fairly private, but self-hosting it in your own server means that you can really set your own privacy levels and things like that. And it avoids search engine personalization, which some people probably like, because search engines do get to know the kind of things that you're searching for, and where you put AI and things built in, it can suggest stuff to you. But this is early days yet, and one of the things I like about Brave, and I think Google does it as well, you get Gemini that comes in and goes, here, if you're searching for this or how to do that, here's some results. And I'm going to see if I can get SearXNG to be able to integrate with the likes of, say, ChatGPT or something like that, if I want to ask it how to do something or I'm looking for a solution. It also supports Tor, if that's your thing. I don't dabble with Tor. It's a bit scary for me, to be honest. Cookies and JavaScript aren't required for this search engine, which is another nice thing. So if someone goes sniffing around for them, and it makes it a lot more lightweight and less dependent on web tracking and things like that. And it divides things out the way you would expect where you can search for images and videos and maps and music and all those sorts of things, and then you can personalize how those actually integrate into your day-to-day thing, and you can change it quite easily. This morning I was trying to work out how to change when I'm using my web browser that if I type it into the bar at the top, it just uses SearXNG instead of Google or Brave or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine it happens to be set up to, and I've got that now, and I'm really quite comfortable with it. It's just light, straightforward, and it seems to work. And whenever I do a search for it, it's a wee bit. It's not what I'm used to anymore because I don't get the sponsored ads all over it. I get actual results for what I'm looking for. And that's a wee bit of a kind of, hang on a second, this is too good to be true. This has to change. And I'm just waiting for a sponsored ad or something to pop in, or, something just to annoy you. It's not there. It feels like there's a lot missing out of your search results because it's back to 1998, where you go to Alta Vista or Yahoo and actually do a search, and it tells you what you want to know before it started getting all greedy and putting in sponsored gubbins. Have you ever heard of this, Ted, or ever felt that you need to do something like this, or are you satisfied with your search engine of choice?
No, and yes.
Oh, okay.
One of the huge benefits, going completely against everything you just said, is the convenience of Google knowing everything about me. And I completely get why people want privacy, and I also get that if I get tripped up one day, no doubt I will completely change my mind. And if I get ripped off or something, I'll be back to SearXNG without a beat. But at the moment, the convenience of Google knowing everything about me just outweighs any risk, and I completely trust them to, do what they do. I've got in my Chrome browser, I've got reading mode if I want it, which strips out any adverts if I need to, and other measures that you can take, like plugins and what have you to do that stuff. But I completely get why you and others might want to do this and get your data away from the tech giants out there. Fair enough. But for me personally, in answer to your question, no, I don't feel the need, but one day when I get tripped up I might.
Well, here's an example that I did earlier on today. I was checking to see whether or not Return of the Living Dead Part 2 was going to be, or if there's been any rumours if it's going to be released on 4K. And I know you can ask AI that, and that seems to be one of the better ways to actually get a result. But I shoved it into Google, and I got a whole rake of Return of the Living Dead 2-disc edition of 4K for sale on Amazon, for sale on here and there and here and there. And I was like, that's not what I asked it. I said, I asked it a question, and it's going, no, you can buy the original from here. But no. How annoyed would you be if you walked into a shop and said, hello, do you have hot dogs? Hot dogs? Well, we have this cereal for sale. No, but I'm looking for hot dogs. I'd like to buy some pork hot dogs, but we have this cereal for sale. That annoys me. So I'm
that never
taking back my search.
But that never happens to me in Google. If I search on Google, not laying aside Gemma, if I go to Chrome and just searching, I never. If I ask for hot dogs, I don't get results that tell me to buy cereals. It just doesn't happen to me. I think that you get singled out.
Yeah, probably. All right, okay. It's just Google and me then. Fair enough. Okay, the bot report.
I do understand what you're saying though about privacy, and like I say, one day I might be there, but at the moment I'm not. And like a lot of things, sometimes people need a kick up the arse by something going wrong to realise that they're doing it wrong and badly, and they should be doing it differently. But I haven't got there yet.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like effort, doesn't it? So let's not do that. What's in the bot report? Because you've been on a shopping spree.
Oh, just really quickly, the Ugreen laptop docking station from last week's bargain basement, I did get it because it was 65 quid, and there was a delay on delivery, unfortunately. And so I've only just had it for a couple of days now, and I did basically set it up to make sure it was working, and it is, but I haven't explored it. So I'll come back to it in a future show when I've actually made use of it, and see what I can do. One of the things I was a bit concerned about is that Amazon marked it as a frequently returned item.
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact that 74% of the people gave it 3 stars and more. It just seems... the number one complaint from people is that it stops working in 3 months. Well, there's no way that I can know that until 3 months down the line, so we'll see. Perhaps I'll leave my feedback on this item until next season when it might have packed up. But the first initial reaction is that I was expecting it to be heavy and hefty, but it isn't. It's really, really light. It looks like a block of aluminium that should be heavy, but it's not. It's really light, and so consequently it's easy to push over and not stand up, but you keep it out of the way and you'll be all right. So there's that. I'll come back to that when I've did you want to say anything about that before I move on?
I sometimes wonder about those reviews where they all say kind of the same thing, and it's almost like it's maybe one of the rival companies has gone to one of those companies that can do multiple reviews and said, can you give this one a negative review, and just give it a crap reason like dies in 3 months, something that we can't really stand over.
Yeah, exactly. So, I know, watch this space. I'll come back to that. I'll also come back, hopefully, next week's show. I know I said that at this stage in the game I would not buy a Chromebook, but the one that we spoke about a lot when it first came out about a year ago was the Duet 11, the one that's got the Compagno chipset in it, the 838. And it was 399 quid on release, and it's now 479. And so I wasn't going to consider it when I've got the Snapdragon 7C Gen 1, this Gen 2 version here, the Duet 3. But somebody in Classifieds made it available for 129 quid, and so it was irresistible. And since I've purchased it and it's on its way, I've gone and looked at, reminded myself of the reasons why it's better on YouTube. So last night I was watching lots of videos, and it reminded me of how good it is and how much better it is than mine. So I'm looking forward to that, and I will come back to that probably next week with a bought report on that one. So watch this space.
Cool. All right, moving into the bargain basement, where we'll try to get Ted to buy some more crap. The first one is something that I bought, and I spoke about it in the last season, and I'm still using it right now. It's right in front of me. That's the Ugreen Steam Deck dock. It's a 4K 120 Hz HDMI hub that has 6-in-1 that you plug your Steam Deck into. I use it for my Lenovo Legion and my tablet now as well, because it's turned my tablet into a really good DeX machine, as I discovered the other day, which provides keyboard, mouse, all that kind of stuff to my tablet for DeX. And in the case of what I was highlighting earlier, where we were doing Projector Room, I was actually dabbling with the idea of plugging this microphone into it to see whether or not I could do a podcast on it, but I didn't get to that. That was just a wee bit too much of a headache to have to get into, to unplug and re-plug in and all that kind of crap. So I love this little thing. It's nicely made. It's got a very adjustable support to it, so you can put all kinds of different things into it, and it holds things very securely. And it's got a right angle USB Type-C connector to it, so it doesn't stick out, a couple of inches or an inch or so. It only sits out about a centimetre and then goes back down into the device, which is a really nice addition. And it's down in price from £38 to £29.99, which is what I paid for it those months ago. There is a bigger brother of it that has 9 ports on it, and that's also reduced in price from £45 down to £36 and 8p. and it's got a few extra USBs on the side for keyboard and mouse if you need them. But yeah, the 6 does me quite nicely.
Very nice. Okay, my first one is a 3D printer, which we spoke about on PSE recently because someone made me something which worked really well. I'm not going to buy a 3D printer, but if anyone's wanting to dabble in it, there's this one called the FlashForge Adventurer 5X, and it's currently got £100 off the price, and the price does kind of go up and down a bit, but it's currently £100 off, and it's $299 instead of $399. And if you wanted to have a dabble, I suppose that's not a humongous amount of money for having a dabble, but so I can't recommend it, but I just noticed that it's reduced. I've never used it, and it does seem to review quite well from those on Amazon.
Okay, yeah, it's a good looking printer. This I've looked at printers before, and I noticed that inside of them they always have these ridiculously overcomplicated designs that they've printed out. Like it looks a bit like the warthog from Halo in pink and blue, and there's no way that's an easy print. That's been in and out and in and out and in and out. But I was watching actually a video recently about a guy who was making his own filament from recycled products. And he was melting plastic down and turning it into his own filament. So I think that might be something that's going to be the next big thing. Although I have just noticed that there's a version of this that's £209. And that's the FlashForge Adventurer.
The 5M, not the 5X.
Yeah.
So it's just probably less capable in some ways. The 5X has got a place on the side to put 4 colour reels, for example, and the 5M hasn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool for anyone who's looking to get into these. I do keep thinking I'd like to, but I know a couple of people who have them, and it does seem to be a bit of a frustrating hobby, if anything, and time-consuming and power-consuming. So you got to be dedicated.
And also something that you get fed up with quite quickly. I know a couple of people that have got them, and they both kind of say, "I've not used it for months now." You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got to have use cases or something that you need to be producing at a regular rate. Keeping with USB peripherals, the USB-C to USB-C charger that has a right angle cable on it, because I just like my right angle cables. I just think they're so much tidier. I've bought a couple of these now, just to have around the place. So I know it's USB-A would be nice as well to have a bunch of those too, but I just bought a few of these. They're nicely braided little cables as well. I don't know what length they are. They're quite long. I suppose they're what?
They're 3 foot.
3 foot. Yeah, I was thinking these are about a meter, so they're good for desktop things, but they might do a longer one as well. But
there's a 6 foot one. There's a 2-pack which is a 6 foot and a 3 foot, which is £6.71 instead of the 2-pack that's 3 foot. If you follow,
which is £5.58. And they're nice. They're plugged in over nice.
There. Braided, nice.
Nice. Yeah.
100-watt rated, lovely. We like that. Right, okay. Somebody asked me just yesterday, I want a tape player and I can't find one. So I said, well, look on Amazon. There's hundreds of them, and this is just one that I picked out because it's on sale from £44 down to £37.39. And it is quite smart. It probably sounds crap from its 2 speakers, but it's quite smart in the sense that you can record your tapes if you've got any left onto MP3. It's got a radio built in. You can voice record yourself. You can also play tapes into it and record and blah blah blah. It's just kind of got some it's got some digital aspects to it, but it looks like a very retro kind of tape player. And it's got a remote control via your phone's app, etc., etc. I just noticed also though that there's a real boombox looking one, the $39.94, which is that looks very, very 1980s. That's been reduced by 15% as well. I'm not sure if that's so digitally clever as the other one, but actually, on reflection, I think I'd rather have that one.
Yeah, it's got an SD card on the side, I think. Yeah.
Has
So
it?
it must have, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it has. Cool. Anyway, there you go. If you've got any tapes left, which I haven't, my dad has.
Oh, I've got absolutely tons of them because I've got an Amstrad. This is how you pirate games in the 1980s. Well, actually, no, you need 2 cassettes. This only has 1 cassette on the front, so you can't copy one to the other. I'd love to have my old one. Yeah. Sanyo. All right. Now, what's the next one? The Vitcher. These are weird. These are I haven't heard of these before, but they're a good price, and there's a voucher that you can apply for £80 to take them for £379 down to £299. They're the Vitcher Pro 2, which are XR/AR glasses, ultra clarity, 120 hertz, with Sony Micro OLED. And if you use these, they can turn your TV screen into 146 inches, which is quite big, at 1080p. There are bigger, better versions. I think there's the Vitcher Beast, which go up to 14.4 or something like that. I can't remember what it is. But I thought these were kind of interesting looking little glasses for you to wear on the bus, maybe, or something like that, which you can use for hooking up to your phone or your games console, which would be kind of cool. I noticed that someone was redoing Windows or Wing Commander Privateer, and they were going to add voxel and VR support to it, which would be kind of cool. So I started thinking, yeah, a bit of VR. I know Duke Nukem now has a VR mode, and Fallout and Doom. So yeah, these could do it, couldn't they? And they're only 300 quid. So I thought I'd see if Ted wanted to buy them and let me know if they're any good.
I'm not really into these glasses, but Aidan is. Aidan Bell, my co-host on Whatever Works, he's really into it. And spookily enough, he is this very moment, he just pinged me a message in the Samsung store in London, and he says, it's like a Disneyland exhibit. 4 or 5 times the size it needs to be. I spoke to a really helpful, friendly man who says he knows nothing about the smart glasses, which he's gone there to look at, if not buy. And Samsung have not had any information about them. I did find the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. It's actually a very nice phone. I don't know that personally I'd ever bother opening it, so that's another subject. But lastly, the Samsung Galaxy store in London has got a great cafe, he says. So Aidan is really after a pair of these smart glasses, and he spoke about it on the last Whatever Work show, and threatens to tell us all about it on the next one. So watch this space on that.
Yeah, get him to buy these. Our roving reporter Aidan, Uncle Travelling Matt.
Right, the Motorola Edge 70 is down from 699 quid to 449 quid on Motorola UK website, and I'll put a link in the show notes to my review on that, and also Joe Hickey's YouTube review, my co-host on PSC, and he's the one that actually spotted this deal in his video, so links to all of that in there, and yeah, that's quite a saving really. It's a very capable device, and a very nice one, and I can't believe it's dropped by that much money in such a short time, but yes, cool.
Yeah, it might be worth mentioning as well, MotoCare as well, which is their insurance thing. They're actually doing the Better Care, which is 2 years worth for £1. That might be worth throwing in as well. So if you damage your screen or whatever, you get it replaced.
Fantastic. Well spotted.
Next up is Apple. Yes, the Apple iPhone 17 Pro. Is for sale. It's down 14% from £1,100 to £949. But crucially, you can get that on monthly payments as well, which is quite nice. So over 5 months, you can pay £189.80 if you must have the be-all and end-all of Apple phones. It's only the deep blue version, the orangey one and the white one are both £999, but if you're happy enough to have that blue one, then it's 50 quid less. That's for the 256 version, not the 1 terabyte or anything like that. But yeah, I was looking at my daughter's phone contract, and the amount of money that they wanted for the iPhone 17 Pro through the contract was eye-watering. It was something like £1,400. It worked out over the course of 3 years, I think it was, whereas you could go and get it off this and have it paid off in 5 months at £949. So yeah, I think that's a better option, and just ram a SIM-only deal into it. Cheaper iPhones.
Certainly financially it's a better idea. Yes. Okay, last up is the Vega 30,000 milliamp hours. You often see power banks that are kind of 2,500 and 2,700, but not so often 30,000. Not ones that don't need external powering to actually work. In terms of getting the, you know what I mean. Anyway, this power bank has been reduced from 30 quid to 25. Now, whether you trust a company called Vega to have a battery cell inside of it that doesn't swell and blow up, that's up to you. But
wow.
It was the 30,000 milliamp hours that drew me to this, because I just thought that was relatively unusual, and it's fairly cheap.
Yeah, wasn't the villain in Ghostbusters 2 Vigo the Carpathian?
I just realised that I was talking out of my arse just now, because I was getting mixed up with power banks and external SSD hard disk drives, and I was my brain was in hard disk drives for a minute. Of course, you don't power these; they power you.
Yes, for over 4 terabytes, you need a little bit of extra juice.
Dear.
Yeah,
I'm very, very sorry for my ignorance and stupidity.
I was just being quiet there, going, "Hi."
What's he talking about? The silly sod?
Yeah, but it doesn't have Qi charging on it. That would be wonderful if this had Qi charging, so you could set your device on top of it on a train.
Yeah, maybe.
No, absolutely. Not maybe. Absolutely. All right. Well, that brings us to an end, and we're going to end on the end, which would be a good place to end. So, if you want to get in touch with us, you can by emailing us at gareth@techaddicts.uk. You can also find us on Twitter as well, and that's Twitter Tech Addicts UK, or X as it's commonly known. You can find me on Twitter as well, at Gareth Myles, GarethMyles, and I have my Blue Sky and my Mastodon. You can get me through there as well, and I also have my .com as well. Ted, where can they find you?
At tedsalmon.com. Links to everything that I am involved in there. Audio podcasts galore, and MeWe groups galore. And MeWe is where I hang out most of the time, as you probably know if you're listening to this. If you want to buy me a coffee, it's at paypal.me/TedSalmon, and I'll thank you forever if you buy me a copy.
Oh, don't make promises you can't keep. All right, we'll catch us all next week. Take care now.
Bye.